Hi, this is Uncle Bear from Uncle Bear's Rodeo, and today is day 29 of my experiment Take Heart, Make Hearth, Get Cozy, experiments in embracing winter and not feeling so crappy. Day 29, week 5. The theme for this week is anxiety. It's anxiety. Ah! It just makes me anxious even thinking about it. So, anxiety. Honestly, I am a beginner dealing with anxiety. I didn't even recognize that it was an issue of mine until a couple years ago. So I am new to this. There are other things that I've been working on consciously for a long time, and for whatever reason, I did not think that what I was experiencing was anxiety. And it is. I have way more anxiety than I ever thought I did. What's anxiety? It is negative expectation, basically. So it's the physical, mental, emotional, energetic stress that comes from not being in the present and being really concerned about a negative outcome in the future. And I imagine it also the past, so past experience, because anxiety, I know for me, has a lot to do with the trauma that I've experienced in my life, right? So I have trauma that is still being metabolized in my system. And then I have certain life experiences that stimulate that trauma, and I become anxious. A lot of the times, my anxiety is there before I ever name it. So I'm in an anxious space before I ever recognize, oh, I'm in an anxious space, which is challenging because it's happening. And then I have to catch up to recognizing that I'm actually in this anxious, worried space. This week, I am going to be playing with some ideas around how do I have a different relationship with my anxiety, and also how do I apply compassion to the anxious part of myself, and also curiosity, because I have done a little research on how to use curiosity to bring down anxiety, and it's worked in the past. It's funny how these things work in the past and then you forget about them and you act as if you never experienced something that was helpful, and then you stumble upon it again, whether through a journal or someone says someone, and you're like, oh yeah, there's there's that thing. Also with anxiety, I know a lot of it has to do with the breath. So I'll be playing with that as well. So this week we are going to be looking at experiments to deal with anxiety on the mental, emotional, physical, emotional realms, and how to care for that anxiety like a pup. So part of the title earlier on Facebook, when I was kind of saying I'm going to do anxiety this week, was loving your anxious pup. I am going to look at my anxiety as if it is a beloved pup. This really works well with me and my body because I've had such an interesting, complicated relationship with my body that it's been very helpful for me to look at my body in a way as if it is a beloved pup of mine, a creature that I tend to and care for. So I'm going to use that same strategy with my anxiety. The exercise and experiment for today is going to be taking a moment, and I have some markers and I have some pencils, colored pencils, and I'm going to create kind of like an image, or I'm going to find an image, whether that be through collage or photographs, that a creature that represents my anxiety for me, so that I can have a sense of how do I actually have a relationship and care for this part of me that's feeling so stressed and worried about the future. I'm also going to be playing with mindfulness techniques because I know that being mindful, being more aware of the present moment, is really a good way to bring some of the anxiety down. Another thing that I want to play with is the movement from anxiety to excitement, or to really energetically engaged space, because I know the research says that it's easier to go from anxiety to excitement than anxiety to calm. And I actually have a video about that, and I'll try to link that to this particular video. I did that years ago, so I'm going to also watch my own video that will help me bring down maybe some anxiety that I have. Anxiety is not going to go away. Just let's be clear. And we don't want it to go away, really, because just like fear, a little bit of anxiety can be motivating, right? So a little bit of fear, a little bit of anxiety is a motivating. It's the spice in the stew that makes it so delicious. It's just when it's too much and it becomes incapacitating. When my anxiety makes me not want to get out of bed, that becomes a problem for me. So how do I shift that relationship just a little bit? I'm going to be discovering a lot this week because this is not an area of my expertise. So I invite you, if you're interested in these experiments, they're all on Patreon, and the experiments are all free access. Just come to my Patreon and take a look at any of the experiments since winter solstice, the 21st. This is number 29, and see if any of them resonate with you. There's other content too. If you want to become a subscriber, it starts at $5 a month, and it goes up depending on what you want. But you can also support me and support this work by becoming a subscriber if you want. But that information most of it is free and accessible, because that's really important to me, that this work stays free and accessible. We'll see how this week goes. This is also one of those things that I was very resistant to making the video today, because I don't have a lot of this is what you do. This is what I'm curious about, and I'm exploring. These are some of the things that have helped me, but there's a whole lot that I don't know, and that's okay. I'm going to take a beginner's mind towards my anxiety and try to find something I haven't understood before with this week about anxiety and my relationship to it. I hope your days and this week, this momentous week in the United States, as we inaugurate a new president on Wednesday, hopefully there's a calmness in all the different human beings that have been really stimulated over the last couple of weeks especially, and I wish you that calmness and ease for myself and for you. Thank you. We do this thing together. We do anxiety together. Oh yeah, we do. We do this thing together.